How different do you imagine it is right now having Hunter at the head of creative, having all of these changes? I mean, I'm certainly like on the outside being like, what's happening? Like
Yeah, same.
everything is turned upside down. The tea is piping hot, as we say. But with Hunter now as the head of creative, and it seems like almost immediately there's already this like, oh, what's happening on the show? Who's coming back? What's happening? There's something really interesting about that to me for sure. But what do you think the future is going to look like with Hunter at the head?
I mean, I think it's fascinating. It really is. And I don't like, I know people like throw these superlatives out like, oh, it's so interesting. And who knows? It truly, truly is.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't,
fascinating.
yeah, you can't downplay the point of like the sole funnel of everything from a walk to the ring to a graphic and everything being funneled through one person, in this case, Vince, no longer being there.
Hmm.
And now it's like a completely open-ended thing. The irony, of course, is like if in 2002 you said Triple H is going to be head of creative, people would be running for the hills, not
Right.
because of his creative mind, but the fact that there was just a inert or innate conflict of interest as far as being a character on the show versus writing the show. And it's always going to be, well, how does it affect my character? Even if you're really trying not to see it that way.
Sure.
He's no longer a character on the show. And he has seen and learned, from Vince for good and for bad. He's a loyal as anyone who would say, you know what? Okay, for you, for the sake of this company, I will simulate sex with a mannequin in a casket during a live funeral. I don't like it, but I'll do
The
it.
line in your book, by the way, of like the Macy's Day Parade that was like the same week as like the
Oh,
sex scene, whatever.
yeah, we're on
Just a little bit of
Thanksgiving.
everything for everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
Smiles on
Great.
faces.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, he has learned so much. He already knew so much going in because he's just a diehard fan, and not just of like not like me, like WWF, WWE through and through. He was
Yeah.
1981 NWA, Harley Race,
Oh, yeah.
Killer Kowalski.
Hmm.
So I think he's taken, I guess just again, just based on the shows that I've seen, the like going back to that stuff, but also having been in WWE long enough to recognize the value of entertainment and
Hmm.
and if you're just going to do it like one specific, you do have to have a little bit of that variety for everybody. And hopefully too, you know, it's not even so much it is, in terms of like having a different person at the helm, it's just going to change the show.
Yeah.
But for me, and one of the things, like this from experience things in WWE production meetings, but for me, like my biggest enemy at WWE every year consistently was not any of the talent, was not any of the office, it was the clock and time.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
sometimes these production meetings end so late, but the show are starting in literally hours, if
Yep.
not less.
Oh, we would start the show without a show.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, it's
problematic.
happened. It's stressful as all hell.
And from a writing during the week standpoint, Vince, it was so busy with everything that a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation should be busy with,
Hmm.
that when you finally you'd have these meetings that would get scheduled for noon, get pushed to 3, get pushed to 5, get pushed to 8. I guess we're going home. Nope, we're meeting at 11. Like that kind of thing. Fortunately, like the late night ones didn't happen all that much when I was there, but the
Hmm.
sitting around part happened a lot.
Yeah,
uh
that's rough. That's what
yeah,
you get paid for. You get paid for those moments, essentially,
exactly.
right?
But with
Yeah.
Hunter having and not that talent relations is not a full-time job in and of itself, because it is,
Hmm.
but with having hopefully significantly less responsibility from a corporate standpoint that Vince did as the CEO. That's so key, because if you can now meet with Paul during the week and not necessarily just have to focus on the main event stuff or
Yeah.
the crossover segment or the opening segment, but really dig into it and get into long term storylines and
Yes.
all the characters, and he has that time to give to it, that's going to result in a lot of positive changes.